So we are live for this week's Flippinar show number 19. AP, are you there?
I'm here. What up, everybody?
Flippinar.
I hope everybody's doing good today. Welcome this Thursday. Let's see here. I don't know who and what you have planned. The holidays coming up, but we are here. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. Ty is getting it set up. Go ahead and begin loading your questions. Of course, as always, to do a beginning shout out for everybody to see where you're from. Just remember when posting your questions, please put your name, because your username I may not be able to pronounce, and also put where you're from. We like to know where you're from. Sometimes the questions can be a little bit more specific to your area. If you do so, I am Adria, the producer, the helper outer for Mr. Flipman Taylor. You ready to rock and roll, sir?
Not yet.
Not quite yet. So I am as well still setting up a few things here. Let's see. Got anybody going? Also, make sure that you're subscribed to Tyrone'sFlipman.net channel on YouTube. You have access to 200 plus videos that will get you started on your journey of flipping houses. A lot of the questions that are asked on the tonight will be answered and will have been answered maybe 1,000 times before previously. If you just watch those videos.
Journey of flipping houses.
Let's see here.
A lot of the questions.
I have some sound. That was me.
That is you.
Yeah. What up, everybody?
No. Got it. I'm sorry, guys. So, Dominique, Shaq, Darnell. We got Jackson, Florida, Washington, D.C., Detroit, D-Town in the house. Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Bessemer. That's right around the corner. How you guys doing? Let's see here. Hey, y'all. Oh, Centerpoint, actually. New Mexico. The DMV. Yeah, I need to get my license renewed. Glad you put that. I'm sure that's not what you meant, but yeah, you just gave me a quick reminder. Thanks, Rise from New York. Hey, Katrina. And let's see here. I'm seeing the shout outs, but no questions. Go ahead and start posting those questions, guys. And I'll go ahead and get YouTube. You squared now?
Yeah, I'm good. So welcome, guys. I'm just doing a little setting up to make sure people can access through Flippinar.com and also changing the thumbnail so people will know we are live if they happen to stumble across us. So again, welcome to this week's Flippinar. We really appreciate those that have made it tonight, and so we'll go ahead and get it to rocking and rolling. If we have questions, we're on Instagram and we are live on YouTube along with Facebook. So make me, I guess you guys remind me to I guess announce something that, I somewhat been fighting against or whatever, but I guess I'll put a few stipulations on it, but it's an opportunity to work with me or whatever, so without being a student. So I really normally don't do that, but I'm gonna put some parameters on it. So hopefully people will follow instructions and we can make money. So, so whenever the questions are ready to rock, so am I, AP.
All right, we'll start with the question from Instagram. Mr. Freshneek, is List Source actually a good source to find homes?
It's a great source if you know how to use it. Most people will use it for direct mail purposes, mainly targeting absentee owners. You can even target other types of property owners as far as commercial, multifamily or whatever. So now it's only going to be as beneficial as how the information is produced from that particular county where the property is located. So just keep that in mind, but it can be a great source.
All right, let's see here. Off-roader on YouTube wants to know, Ty, do you ever go through dry spells? Been getting calls, but no deals.
Yeah, I can go through dry spells and the phone is ringing, but normally it's still just a snowball effect, whereas 1 month may not be as strong as another. The month after that will be even stronger. It's just a snowball effect. If you put the work in as far as keeping your phone to ring, deals are just going to come your way. When I mean your phone ringing, I'm talking about 100 to 150 calls or more per month. That's ideally what you're looking for. Now, you're in a smaller market, then that may not be possible, but any decent sized city will produce that number of calls or whatever. So.
All right. Love and beloved Instagram. What do you say to a seller who called one of your bandit signs and is asking what the procedure is?
That's really simple. I let them know that we buy houses as is. We pay all cash. We close within 2 to 4 weeks. We pay all closing costs minus any unpaid taxes, mortgages, or liens. That's simple. That normally answers pretty much all of their questions.
Okay, let's see here. Is 313131 still available for the contract?
Yeah. I'm almost forced to keep that up, because I promoted it so heavily. But you can also go to flipman.net and submit your name and phone number and get access there also.
All right, guys. I know that question is going to be asked multiple times. So if someone posted in the questions, the contract is available through texting the 313131 or going to flipman.net and sending that information over. Katrina Wilson on YouTube, how can you keep buyer from meeting the seller if they want to see the house in person, even after seeing it on YouTube?
Well, if it's a situation, the buyer won't give you a key where you can place a lockbox on it or whatever, then you just have to manage it. You have to be very clear and transparent with your buyer. Let them know you are wholesaling it. The seller is going to be there. You may introduce them as your partner on this deal, which is really true for that particular deal. And, let them know any price negotiations need to go through you. So it's that simple. So you're there to mediate.
All right, let's see here. Desiree is from Maryland, and she says, do you think there will be any good wholesale deals going on in Texas?
There'll be a ton of them. There's going to be a lot of opportunity there. You hate to look at it that way with the way people are suffering there, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to live somewhere. And a lot of those houses that are flooded now, that the water will eventually subside. And some of those houses don't have any mortgages on them, or they will be paid off by the insurance or whatever, but the owners may not want to live in that area anymore. So they'll give them away. And so the houses can be rehabbed. They just have to be, so you have to treat those just as if it was a burnout. The price still has to justify what will be needed to renovate the property. So you have to treat it like a burnout, because that can get very expensive. But to answer your question, there will be tons of opportunity in that part of Texas for sure.
Okay. When making an offer and the seller doesn't accept your price at the appointment, do you follow up to renegotiate, or do you stick firm to your offer price?
Well, everything's negotiable, but you're going to have a breaking point as far as price. I know, again, now to understand my negotiating technique is that my goal is to get them to give me a price, their least amount. Now, sometimes the only way I can accomplish that is to offer something ridiculously low. And I'm expecting them to reject it. Sometimes they don't, but I'm expecting them to reject it. And when they reject it, my follow-up question will be, well, how close can you come to that amount? So whatever their response is, then, you know, I'll decide there if there's an opportunity there to do a deal. But either the numbers work or they don't. You know, it's really that simple. I think I was answering that question correctly.
Okay, let's see here. Instagram, I've been told showing the home is illegal and advertising it for sale is as well, unless you're an agent. True or no?
False. I guess it was the
Yeah.
true was what she said was actually false. The difference between you and an agent is an agent doesn't have an equitable interest in the property. Once you place it on the contract, you have equitable interest in the property. My actual contract says I can advertise it. But even if it didn't say that, you don't have to advertise it, but nothing prevents you from advertising. It's just that an agent doesn't have an actual purchase and sales agreement in place. Once you have that, you have some say so in how you proceed beyond that point. Now, you're not doing anything illegal by, number one, it's assignable because the contract doesn't say that it's not assignable. So if someone's going to come in and replace you, and that's done through marketing and advertising and then showing it or whatever, then so be it. But again, what separates you from an agent is you have equitable interest in the property once you place it on the contract or that time period that you and the seller agreed upon to close on the deal. So don't get confused on the two. If you explain this to someone that didn't know anything about wholesaling, yeah, it sounds like you're trying to act like a real estate agent, but what they don't understand, the big difference is you've actually entered into a purchase and sales agreement with that owner. So, you know, that changes everything.
Okay. We got some, let's see here. Oh, all my visitors and viewers from, I think I have Anthony Montgomery, Spelvin, Taj Real Estate. They're all in Houston. Much prayers to you guys. I hope everything is all right with you and your loved ones. Take care of yourselves, guys. David on Facebook says, with bandit signs, when is the best day, time, and what locations would be best? This is our every week question, team. So listen, because we're only going to
mark that. What we're about 14 minutes in, maybe.
Yeah.
The best days, you know, I put them out through the week most of the time. I have my guy that I drive around, and he just pops out. I may have to circle a block and boom, come back and pick him up. So I'm through the daytime now. Through the week, during the day. But the best days, if I just had to choose two, is going to be Sunday first, Sunday morning first, Saturday morning second. Normally, traffic is a lot lower at that point, but no day is off limit for me. I never put them out at night.
All right, Marika, you're not late. You're just in time. You haven't missed much. Let's see here. Hey, Ty, you have like 100 websites. I'm looking to get one to send people and fill out your questionnaire. Can you tell of a good start?
A questionnaire on, yeah, if he could be a little bit more clear on that. I don't have 100 sites. Maybe it's only about 3 or 4, but well, probably might be more than that, but I get your point. But what type of questionnaire is he referring to?
Okay, let's see here. What do I do when a seller wants a larger deposit instead of $10?
Well, how much larger? Again, $50, $100. Do they want $1,000? That could be a deal breaker if you don't have it. It's no different if they gave you a price that doesn't work. You know, if they don't want to operate on your terms, and obviously the price is a part of the terms, then you walk. You know, it's that simple. Most sellers, just if you're dealing with a private individual, they don't really care. You'll have some that may want something a little different, but normally a motivated seller and worrying about earnest money don't go hand in hand normally. You know, you can always have your outliers, but normally that's not how it works. But again, if they don't agree to the amount you want to put up, yeah, I'll go from 10 to 50, sometimes 100 or whatever, but not much more than that in most cases.
Okay. Mailing lists, where should I go?
All right, we sort of just spoke about this a moment ago, but ListSource and Melissa Data are great places to access or to create mailing lists.
Okay. When offering a price on commercial multifamily housing, how do you know you're making a good offer and not overpaying? This is Matthew from Oklahoma City.
Well, with multifamily, it's an income producing property. So the thing that you're going to look at, some people will buy per door based on what other properties of similar, I guess, class. You have A, B, C, and D. Think of A as the best neighborhood. Think of D as in dog as the worst. And then you can figure out what C and B are. Okay, as far as neighborhoods, and sometimes it's based on when the property was built. But to answer your question, the main thing is income and NOI, which is net operating income. And what that simply means is take the gross income, which is mostly obviously going to be more rent than anything, and subtract the cost, and you come up with a net operating income. Now, once you do that, you can take the price that they're asking and divide it into that net operating income, and you'll come up with a cap rate. Look at cap rate as similar to what would my return over the course of a year, what would the return be? So it may be 6%, 7, 8, 10. So the higher you go, the better opportunity it is. So it just depends on what you're actually trying to do. But like anything, the cap rate in quote unquote a neighborhood is going to be a lot lower than a cap rate in a D as in dog neighborhood. So, and then obviously the C and B's, but it's all going to be based on income and cap rate. So hopefully I answered the question. It's a little bit more detailed than that, but for the sake of where we're at. Then I have a couple of videos on my channel that sort of break that down even more. So.
All right, for my YouTube users, I see several questions in regards to the bandit signs. I'll go ahead and answer that for you. It's dirtteepsigns.com. You need to call. Do not order online. Call the number 512-827-3466. Ask for Curtis or Christina and tell them Ty referred you, and you can get 5% off of your order. Best thing to do, bandit signs, guys, give them a call. So if anybody asks that question, you can scroll up, scroll down, whichever the case may be. All right, moving on. Let's see here. Does a tax lien take priority over a foreclosure when dealing with tax delinquent properties?
All right, hold on that question right there. Since we're a little deep in, and I think quite a few people along on Instagram Live, Facebook, and YouTube Live. I don't know how I want to, well, it's simple. I want to put this out there because I've been doing this a long time, and I've built a network of all types of individuals, and mainly on the commercial side is what I'm about to talk about. But I'm only going to be interested on first two things. First, it needs to be off market, right? And my definition of off market is if I Google the address, it is not advertised anywhere online. That's my definition of off market. All right. The other thing is you need to be dealing either with the actual owner of the property and sometimes a broker, commercial broker. There's no seller's rep. I don't want to hear no, do I need to sign an NADA, NCD, or whatever it's called, non-disclosure agreement. I'm not going to be interested. I'm just telling you. But so apartment buildings, self-storage, retail centers, obviously single tenant, or as I say, multifamily, I said that. Hey, I don't know who you know, so that's why I'm putting this out here. but you got to have those two things. It has to be off market, and you need to be talking directly with the owner, and I can talk directly with the owner. You know, it's that simple. I'm not going to be interested with anything else. So the opportunity is we'll split the deal. I don't know what the split will be. With students, it'll be 50-50, but non-students, I'm just going to say 70-30 at this point. You know, 50-50 is not out of the question, but I'm going to say 70-30. So, but I wanted to just put that out there. So what was that question again?
Lord, I forgot. Oh, priority over tax liens and delinquent taxes and foreclosures. Which one, I guess, ultimately is the priority? Which one would you go for first?
Well, with tax liens, I would probably target them first, but that's not an end all. Some people would probably prefer targeting foreclosures. I'm assuming you mean pre-foreclosures instead of actual properties that have been foreclosed on because the bank owns them. But if I had to target the two, one of the two, it'd be people that are delinquent on taxes, because there may be a level of motivation there to there may be a level of motivation there that that the seller is in some financial straits, and they may want to actually sell. So, so I'm gonna say tax delinquent properties is targeting those particular owners.
Okay, on YouTube, Mariko says, just recently a buyer's agent told me I would need an article of incorporation when assigning a property. I'm so confused right now. Does that have anything to do with owning an LLC of my own? And if not, how do I obtain a temporary one? Or is that something where you have to have an actual hard money lender who can provide that article of incorporation?
What are you trying to do? Are you trying to buy a piece of real estate, or are you trying to wholesale it? Well, it doesn't matter. You can buy properties in your name. You don't have to have an LLC to buy real estate, period. Boy, I suggest everybody, if you haven't, go watch the video. I have 5 mistakes newbies should avoid when wholesaling houses. And one of the mistakes is listening to realtors. They do not know what they're talking about, guys, in most cases. You line 10 of them up, 9 of them have never even heard of wholesaling.
All right, you heard it there. Let's see here. Say the realtor's commission is 6% of 100K, is 6,000. How do you work your profit into the deal? Do you have to use the agent's paperwork?
Man, we got a lot of agent questions, don't we? Wow. Yeah, you have to, if you're paying part of the agent's commission, then yeah, you have to work that in part of how you're going to pay them. If you're paying the entire 6% or percent of it, or 2%, 3%, whatever the number is, you have to take that in consideration, whatever offer you accept, if you're on the hook for paying part of their commission.
Okay, let's see here. How would you flip a manufactured home? And is it true they are not considered as real estate property? Yeah,
they're more, you have to think of them more so as like a car, an automobile, because they depreciate every second, just like a car. The owner can have title in hand, which means that traditional wholesaling, in the sense the way you would wholesale a house, may not work that way with a mobile home. It's more about time, and in most cases, you're going to probably end up having to buy it first, because if your buyer and seller ever meet, they don't need you anymore. Adrian, your camera went out.
Which one? YouTube?
On YouTube, yeah.
Ah.
Hold on.
Oh, I see. All right, let me blow this back up. You gave it to me?
Yep.
Got it.
All right. Okay, so I think I answered that one though.
All right. Jason Truncone on Facebook asks, how many buyers in real estate How many buyers and real estate agents should someone have on their team to start?
None.
Goose egg.
0. You need to worry about great deals. Buyers and agents, you really don't need to worry about agents. But buyers are easy. It is not difficult to give away money. Worry about great deals. That's the hard part. Worry about the hard part. If you find a great deal, buyers will beg you not to show it to anyone else. So 0 to answer that question. It doesn't hurt to have buyers, but 0. Focus on great deals.
All right. Instagram, do you have any experience or advice on dealing with HUD homes?
Well, HUD is a process, and you're going to have the right type of buyer dealing with those. You're going to have proof of funds. You're going to have earnest money. So if you got those in place, it's possible, but you're going to have the right type of buyer ready to go because it's a bank-owned property. So, well, I say bank-owned. It's an entity-owned property, not just an individual.
Okay, Ty, is the Find Sellers site a course or a place for anyone to find motivated sellers?
Is there what?
Is the Find Sellers site a course or a place for anyone to find motivated sellers?
Oh, no, it's a course. It's a course to show you how to take an absentee list that people normally use for direct mail and to find phone numbers, which will allow you to find sellers. So,
okay, let's
find deals and to make calls. It's basically speeding up the process for you. Whereas you doing direct mail and waiting for people to call you back, you're just being proactive and reaching out and calling them to see if they would be interested in selling their property. Which is it's a numbers game, because you buy a list of 1,000 absentee owners, and the list may produce 300 phone numbers. Now, some of those are going to be disconnected numbers. Some of them are people going to hang up in your face. How did you get my number? Then you're going to have people to say, hey, let's do a deal. So, everything in between. But the course shows you how to actually do all of that. That's what it's for.
All right. Marvelous One asks, how do I get past a seller saying, I'm not selling, but make me an offer?
How do you get past it? You make them an offer. With that talk, more than likely, there's not going to be a deal there. So you move on. You don't spend a lot of time on it. But if someone is sounding like that, the percentage of you probably doing a deal with that individual is going to be very low. But you make them an offer. As I said, you make them a ridiculous offer. Don't be scared if they hang up on you. There was no deal there anyway. They made it easy for you.
Okay. What's a unique way to send out yellow letters to absentee owners?
What's a unique way? Well, the way I train my students, and I think I have 1 or 2 videos on it on YouTube, is the type of mailer that you send. Instead of sending just a regular envelope, I send the same size, the same material that someone will receive a document from FedEx or UPS. That's a unique way.
Okay, Ty, I'm excited to get into the wholesale game. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. I'm looking forward to sharing my testimony. Chauncey, we'll be waiting for you as well. Let's see here. Sticking with Instagram, there are bandit signs everywhere in my city. Is there still room to make deals?
That's a beautiful thing. That means they're working. So get in the game. Then those people are not wasting their time and money. So if they're everywhere, that's easy. Get in the game.
Okay. What if I tell a seller that I can close within a month and don't find a buyer within that time? Grady from Kalamazoo.
Okay, well, you'll do 1 or 2 things. You'll go back to the seller and ask for more time and they give it to you, or you'll go back to the seller and ask for more time and they don't give it to you. So if they don't give it to you, they keep your earnest money, you move on, they move on. That's it.
All right. On Facebook, after finding a buyer and getting them to agree to a deal, Is it best to have them pay you an honest money, non-refundable fee in case they try to back out?
Well, you always want that's one of your is this guy serious on the is this guy serious checklist is earnest money. Now, some of them not going to put it in your hand. They'll let an attorney, someone that they feel comfortable with, which is fine as long as you can verify. But if they don't want to do earnest money, it's going to be hard for me to do business with them.
Chili wants to know. First, I'll ask the question. When do you go to see the property and put it under contract? And Ty, your eyes are really low today. Did you smoke Kush today?
Well,
no.
No, I don't do any drugs. I don't even drink. So it's just that I guess I'm getting old, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the first time somebody said that. So, but anyway, what was the question, man? You got me all killed. Oh, when do you go to see the property and put it under contract? Well, I'm not even, in most cases, I'm not even going to go view the property unless the price works over the phone. So once I go out there, and I'm going to video the property when I go out there, use technology to your benefit. And so once that happens, then once I get back home, I get their email address or whatever, and then I'll send them a contract. It's rare I put a contract in someone's hands these days. Even when my mom has email, everybody has it. So now, even though she don't like to use it, but she still has the email address. So.
All right. Tiff Chrisman on Instagram asks, I'm in Houston dealing with Hurricane Harvey. Are there deals immediately after a flood? I don't want to seem insensitive and offer cash for houses too soon.
Well, the thing about it, from my understanding, which he may can correct, Houston is a huge market. So I would assume the entire city is not flooded anyway. So with that being said, you can go ahead and put your stuff in motion in other parts of town. I'm sure there was nowhere not affected probably at all or whatever. But once that water subsides and they can start going in there doing inspections, FEMA, whoever, insurance companies or whoever, then they're going to condemn a lot of those houses. There's still going to be real estate people still got to live somewhere. So there are going to be opportunities there. That's the second time we've answered that question today. I'm sure we'll probably answer it again, but that's fine. But yeah, there's going to be opportunities there. It's sad. But at the end of the day, somebody's going to make some money off of it. Why not? Can it be you? You're not taking advantage of anyone, There's going to be opportunities there. Plenty. People are going to get, even with that devastation, with all the reconstruction that's going to have to go on in so many aspects, from businesses, from obviously residential, there are going to be some flat out life-changing money being made in that city. Now, everybody ain't going to benefit from some of the people that are suffering of it, but we're just talking about the ones that are.
All right. Omar Flowers concurs. Texas is going to be a gold mine. Let's see here. Miles Muldrow asks, is it more difficult to wholesale during the winter?
I don't really think it's more difficult to wholesale during the winter. The only difference is, in my opinion, is that the daylight hours are shorter, so you can get less done during that time frame. The biggest deal, one of the biggest deals I've ever done residential was in December.
All right. Do you have experience with probate homes? How do you approach it?
Actually, I don't. I don't have the organizational skills or the patience to deal with those. If a probate situation comes my way, it's already completed in most cases. So it's not anything that I seek out. That takes research, that takes follow-up or whatever. This is not my thing. Not saying don't do it by no means. I'm just telling you it's not my thing. It doesn't fit my personality and some of my weaknesses as a human being.
All right. Do you have trouble with title companies not understanding what type of transaction you are doing?
Yeah, you'll run into title companies not understanding what a wholesale deal is. But if you're just calling them out of the blue and trying to ask them about it, then they're probably not going to know what you're talking about. Some of them, not all of them, some of them. But if you have a buyer and seller in place, it's a lot easier to explain because they want the business.
All right, let's see here. Do you ask for the keys to see the inside, or do you just inspect the outside after you get the numbers and they make sense?
No, you want to see the inside of the property. There's no reason to go out, if possible, you're going to have to do that. There's really no way around it. Now, I'll drive by properties sometimes if I'm already out and someone calls me or whatever, and they give me a price that works, then I may do that, but I'm still going to want to see the inside of it. I'm a big believer, guys, in videoing the property. Ain't I, Adrian?
Goodness.
And videoing it correctly. You don't hold your phone like this when you're videoing. If you want it to look like a widescreen on YouTube, this is the correct way to hold your camera, people. Don't wait till you get out there to try to figure it out. Do it before you get out there. Test it, upload some, whatever. You can video a tree if you want to. But normally now, you have to test your camera. This is an iPhone. This is the right way to video stuff. I know people like to do it. You know, have you seen videos on YouTube and you have all this black space and just a narrow view? It's because they're videoing like this. Really pet peeve of mine.
Yep. I get it. Stand in a circle, go all the way around. Whatever.
360. You want to video. You want to stand in front of the house and do a 360 of the neighborhood or whatever. Then walk all the way around the house. Come back to and walk through the front door. Just do the room. It should take you only in just a regular size house. When I say regular, not too large or whatever, you're talking about a 3 or 4 minute video. Some people have them in 2s or whatever. I'm not sure how that happens. Just do one video or whatever. But anyway.
All right. When giving an EMD, do you give that by check or straight cash? I know at times you may not even have to, but if so, how does that happen?
It's just, if it's $10, I'll give them $10 just right out of my pocket and write cash given or whatever. So, yeah. So it just depends. If it's more than 10, I may do a money order or a check.
Okay. How do I find a buyer for apartment complex selling for 12 million? Help.
Are you dealing directly with the owner?
There you go, Shaq. Shaq, answer that question. Get back with us. Let's see here. I've seen this posted, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask, do you tell the seller you are a wholesaler? No. Too much information. Can't explain it. They won't understand it.
As I mentioned before, I'm gonna answer the question, but that's one of the 5 mistakes newbies should avoid when wholesaling houses. Just like you have a ton of questions right now about wholesaling housing, you've actually been pursuing, trying to educate yourself on this matter, on this opportunity or whatever, and you still have tons of questions. Imagine trying to explain this in 5 minutes to a seller. It is not important where the money comes from. So you are a cash buyer, you buy as is, you close within 2 to 4 weeks. You pay all closing costs minus any unpaid taxes, mortgages, or liens.
All right. This sounds bad, but can a new wholesaler wholesale owing back taxes? I wouldn't actually own the home, so probably not. Huh? Yeah,
that won't affect your credit, bankruptcy, or whatever. That won't affect you because you never take title to the property. So the title company, it won't matter. It won't play a role.
Terry Warfield on YouTube asked, I've been looking into wholesaling for some time. However, I'm in Ohio, and I've heard on a lot of REI forums that you can get in a ton of trouble wholesaling with a license in Ohio. Any advice?
Don't listen to those people. As long as that's basically saying you can't do any real estate outside of, you can't do any personal real estate. That's what they're saying, which we know that's not true. You just simply have to disclose that you are an agent. That's it. That's it.
When dealing with vacant lots, should I try to get them for 20 to 30% of the tax value? I'm not sure how to find comps for land.
It's very difficult. Now, especially in an area where there's no development going on, it's basically just, I hate to say worthless, but worthless. So it depends on where it's located. If it's in an area where there's no development going on, I'm assuming you're speaking about residential, the assessed value for it may be 10 grand, but you may not be able to get someone to pay you 1,000 for it or whatever, but it'll be difficult to move lots. Again, it depends on if they're developing in the area. If they're not, very difficult.
Okay. Naila on YouTube asked, if a buyer wants to go through a bank, should I use them as a buyer? I say no, but my partner believes it's okay.
No, you can't. You can't.
All right, there you go.
You cash buyers only. Cash buyers only.
Way to go, Royston. Share the link on Facebook. Thanks. Hopefully we get some other people watching. Hey, don't forget to tell a friend, bring a friend, come watch together. Ask your questions together. Get those questions asked. Let's see here. Is it possible to do a deal on a property without proof of funding?
I do a lot of deals. If you're dealing with just a regular Joe Blow or just a private seller, they don't care about any proof of funds. So yes.
Okay. Marvelous One says, I'm in Orlando, Florida, and I'm finding it very difficult to find homes vacant, primarily driving around, as I'm a plumber and 95% of the work is in rich developed areas. How would I be able to find homes?
Read that again.
He says he's a plumber and he's basically driving for dollars, but the areas that he's driving in doesn't have any vacant homes. And he's there because he's doing work.
Well, yeah, if you're in that area and you don't see any vacant homes, then that answers itself, my friend. You need to go down a notch or two. What I would recommend is just don't use the time just when you're at work. What about when you're not at work driving for dollars?
Okay. Do I have to get a real estate license once I get a certain number of flips and rehabs under my belt?
No.
Nope.
Well, we got a lot of agent questions on.
Lots. Been talking to the wrong folks, y'all.
I'm telling you, man.
People.
Oh my God. Yeah, you talked to the wrong person when you start talking about agents. But go ahead though. We'll rip.
Okay, Instagram, for a newbie, would you recommend high dollar properties or low cost rundown properties?
I recommend finding great deals wherever it is, whether it's in we'll just say an A neighborhood, meaning, higher price houses, or a D neighborhood, as D as in dog, as far as lower price houses and everything in between. Now, I can just tell you on the higher end, it's going to be less opportunities there, mainly because of most of those properties are leveraged with mortgages that won't allow the deal to make sense. Not that you can't do deals with mortgages, it's just they owe too much. So there are going to be more properties paid off in the lower end. So there's equity there to make deals work, but deals can be done in both areas. I'm just telling you just the numbers, just going to have more opportunities in the C and D neighborhoods.
Okay, sticking with the questions from Instagram, do contracts have to be typed or can they be handwritten?
They can be handwritten. I just prefer, when I started out for years, I did it handwritten, but a lot of technology out there, guys. It doesn't, that doesn't have to be that way, whatever. But both work. To answer the question, both work.
Okay. Trio Success says, I still don't understand ARV. If the average home costs $109,000 in an area when it's distressed, how do you determine the ARV when it's all fixed up from the buyer?
Well, whenever an appraiser goes out to appraise a house, their main, I guess, method of determining what the value of the house is what other houses have sold for of similar size. If they could be a 1,300 square foot house, or it could be a 1,500. They consider that similar size, but you can still break it down to per sale per square foot or feet. And so they'll look at houses of similar size within a certain radius, normally with up to a mile. They can go farther depending on the amount of data available as far as recent sales. 12 months, within 12 months, the more recent the sale, the more they would like to use those numbers. But, they're looking for the higher end properties based on the price of the contract that's, submitted or whatever. So with the seller and the buyer. So you're basically doing the same thing. It's just that technology is so good and information is so readily available. It's just basically a Google search away. Within 5 or 10 minutes, you can have a number. Understand there's no one number. If you send 3 appraisers out to a house, they're going to probably come back with 3 totally different amounts, but they're going to probably be close to each other. So there's no exact amount. You just need something to a roundabout number to go by. So don't think there's just a number. So what ARV mean, even though the actual acronym is after repair value, don't get confused with the repair part of it. What it simply means is what will the house appraise for in excellent condition. One of the videos that you could go look up is a more recent video that I did. It's the top 3 ways to calculate ARV for wholesaling houses. So, and that'll explain this, and it'll give you a visual and going through the process of how to calculate that. And just keep going over and over till you get it.
Okay. The King Cobra asks, says the seller says they have a mortgage. How do you find out if this is true? Why would they lie about it? But
why would they lie about it? But it's going to come out in the title work anyway, whenever the title is done. So you just take their word for it that there's a mortgage. It's going to come out if you have a deal in place and the numbers work considering the mortgage balance. It's going to come out in the wash, as older people say. So that it's nothing to worry about as far as whether they're telling the truth or not, because it's going to reveal itself. No question about it, because you have to have a mortgage payoff balance even to close the deal. Even if you have a buyer ready to go, the title company or a closing attorney, they have to know this to be able to cut checks, because the mortgage company has to be paid off at closing.
Okay, so hey, Corey, go ahead and post that question again. I might have missed it on Instagram, trying to keep up. Actually, I see it. I'll ask him now. No, that's not you, but the question on Instagram: what are recommendations for investing in areas that have dealt with or are currently impacted by natural disaster? Yeah, we've answered that quite a bit already, but
it's going to be a lot of opportunities there. It just is. People, you're talking about, I don't know how many people probably affected, but the region, maybe anywhere from 6 to 10 million people, maybe just an endless amount of opportunities for years to come, because they're going to rebuild, you know what I'm saying? So, or renovate. So there's, you need to stick your foot in the water, make sure that people know you're splashing. But there's going to be an endless amount of opportunity there.
Okay. Monte Williams says, I have 4 houses from one owner under contract. Do I need to pay earnest money for each house?
Technically, you can go about that a couple of different ways. I'm assuming you either have one contract or 4. If you got one contract, then yeah, it's just be one amount of earnest money. But if it's 4 separate contracts, then it's going to be 4 different amounts. So you may say I'm giving them, we'll just say $100 on each contract. So you just write one check for $400, or you can write 4 separate checks or whatever. So.
All right. Is it a deal? Question. First one from Jody Ross. I have an owner that owes $65,000 on his house. After repair value is $100K. What should I offer? And is it a good deal? Well, you didn't tell us if it needed any repairs.
So what was the price?
$65K. ARV is $100K.
Yeah, that's going to be thin. I'm assuming it's going to need some repairs. And then you got to add your money. It's going to be tough to make money on that one, unless it's just in really good condition. But, we would need to know that. But, we'd have to have an idea. Because even if I said 50, I like to throw the number around 15,000 or whatever. So that brings it up to 80 right there, doesn't it? So there's no deal there, isn't it? It's going to be tough to do a deal like that.
All right, let's see here. This question, I see it on Instagram and on YouTube. Not sure if it's the same person, but keeping it honest, I guess. Do you make more money in the hood or the rich part of town?
Well, the checks in the rich part of town are going to be bigger, but you won't get the volume of the number of deals you can find in the hood. I've done way more deals in the hood, but that's just me. I've done way more deals in the hood, especially years ago. Not as much now, but many more deals in the hood.
Okay. Question from Omar on Facebook. When signing a contract on a property with tenants, does the tenant have to move after the deal, or do you incorporate the lease in the deal with the buyer?
Well, that's going to depend on the situation. If the buyer wants them to move, then that's going to be part of your negotiations to make sure that that's going to happen. I just today, we closed this deal back on July 31st. And I just got basically my money today, August 31st or whatever, because we had to get the tenant out or whatever. So that was 30 days later, but I'm the one I agreed to do this for the buyer. I put it into motion, but she did what she said she was going to do, but the buyer allowed her to keep, her $1,000 a month rent, and obviously you're going to get a deposit back, but he didn't even require that she clean up the property or anything. So she put $1,000 in her pocket along with the deposit she was going to get back anyway or whatever. So, but that was negotiated. I had to be cool with waiting on my money. You know what I'm saying? So, but all of that can be negotiated. Some buyers will buy it depending on how cheap it is, and they'll just handle it. I put it like this, it was an okay deal, but if I had that property, we'll just say for $40,000 less, he wouldn't have cared that there was a renter in there. He would have just handled it himself, because it would have been worth it, even if he had to get an attorney involved. But she moved out, within a reasonable amount of time.
All right, let's see here. This may sound ghetto or poor. No, it doesn't, Mr. Freshneek. But do you offer a payment plan on your coaching or buyer's list program?
I really don't. I just can't put that out there that I do installments, you know what I'm saying? But so I'm about to just say I don't at this point, man. I don't.
Dylan asks, are you still using the same contracts from your videos from a long time ago?
Same one. I don't even remember where I got it from. I've been using that contract 14 years. As the date of this video.
All right. Our second is it a deal question. Let's see here.
We need a bail. I meant to tell you that we need a bail or something whenever people want us to analyze a deal. Is this a deal question? We got to do that next week, along with what else you're supposed to be getting for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, that. Yeah, okay. Kennard says he's going to see, the question's going fast, a 2-family house on Sunday. He says the owner wants $35K. He owns it free and clear. The comps are around 60 to 70. and he's motivated. Repairs are about 10. He wants to make about 5 to 7 grand. Am I being too thirsty?
All right. So what was the ARV?
60 to 70, so 65.
And what was the price?
35.
Oh no, that's not a deal. What the repairs were?
10.
Yeah, so you have 45 right there, then you want 5, that's 50. No, man, it's not even close to being a deal. You need that property probably 15 grand or less. 20 or less for sure.
All right, there you go. Are bandit signs or mailing lists more effective in the inner city in your experience?
I can only go by my experience and what I know. But the reason bandit signs are more effective than direct mail, in my opinion, if done correctly, both of them have to be done, assuming they're done correctly. You can buy 200 bandit signs, one color, for $200, right? You'll spend that on a list. That don't include the postage. All right. Now, 200 signs it will bring an impact in your market if you get them out and they stay up. You know, a significant amount of them stay up. Those will last for a couple of months, and possibly I don't even know how many deals that may even produce. It's going to produce for bandit signs, man. See, you're taking advantage of. Just think about you can if you just want to. Some states have, I know, like here in Alabama, so I'm assuming most states have it. You know, you have a Department of Transportation site, and you can just check like the traffic counts of streets or whatever. When you have 60,000 cars passing through an intersection, just one intersection, not all 60,000 of them are probably going to see your message, but we'll just assume, I don't know, 1,000 of them see your message. Man, that's a lot of people just in one intersection. You can't reach that many sellers, even though with direct mail it's still, both of them are shotgun approaches or whatever, but because the people may not be willing to sell, but because they receive your message or see your message, it sparks that, hey, yeah, I do need to sell this or whatever. So bandit signs, you're just going to put you put your message in front of so many eyeballs, and you just let the numbers take over for you. That's why they're so much more effective than pretty much anything, is because the number of people, you're playing the attention game. You're putting your message in front of where the attention is by force. If you're doing an effective job, it has to be done right now. It just can't be any kind of way. It ain't brain surgery, but it's still a method to the madness. So you're just taking advantage of large numbers of eyeballs, and you just let the numbers take over. So, and then they're so inexpensive, so inexpensive.
All right, there you have it.
What business can you put a tool in place? We'll just say $200, and it produce 20,000. You can't even get that. Ain't dope game numbers. You know, nothing. It's rad. You know, oh my God! It just, the return on investment is just unbelievable. Both work, but I'm just answering the question.
All right, Frank Lucas. Let's see here. Justin Johnson asks, do I have to get contracts notarized or just give the contracts to the title company?
No, you don't have to get them notarized. That's not necessary.
Okay. Does it take a long time to gather investors if needed?
If you have a great deal, no. If you're doing an effective job of letting people know your deal exists, no, it doesn't.
All right, let's see here. Ty, would you work a deal on a property that has a first and second mortgage, each less than 80K, also with a lien of 30K, but with an ARV of 250, no less than 220?
Are they going to take what's just owed on it? If they're going to take what's just owed on it, then cha-ching, that's a deal. You know, the two mortgages doesn't matter. The liens don't matter if they're going to accept those as the actual price, the total of those as the actual price. So to answer your question, yeah, you can do that deal if that's what they're going to accept, most definitely.
All right, Strawberries and Candy wants to know, do you have any JV contracts? What should every newbie wholesaler know before a JV partnership?
You know what? I actually signed one the other day. We off on Instagram. Hold on a second, guys. See if we can get back up here, rocking and rolling. I signed one the other day, which is a pretty good contract, I think, or whatever. So normally it's not anything that I do, but because who I was dealing with, I'm confident it was going to pay off or whatever. But normally the way I proceed with a JV deal is that I want to enter into an actual purchase and sales agreement. Now, normally I'm going to have the property and then someone is bringing a buyer. So, you know, we agree on an amount or whatever. And we do it that way with, like, I say I treat him just as a buyer, but I'm not going to give him that long to close on the property unless somebody I know, you know, I've dealt with before. But so an actual JV contract, I don't have one that I just provide for people. Maybe I would, maybe I'll put that one out there that I received the other day and agreed to. So.
All right. Would you wholesale in an area that has over 100 houses available for sale or an area that only has just a few? Does that make a difference?
When you say 100 houses, but how many houses are in that area? Are you talking 40,000 houses? You know, that matters. Now, it seems like a lot of activity in that area with 100, which that's a good thing, in my opinion. But there are some other factors that may not, well, that may not be a good thing. So you have to come up with, inject some more factors there for me to give you a definite answer.
Okay, after you get the seller to sign a sales agreement, do you take it to the title company or wait for a buyer to sign?
Wait for a buyer, because a buyer may dictate where you close it. They may not want to use that title company, so wait for a buyer.
All right, I think we'll try in the future to do 3, maybe 4, is it a deal questions. So this is our third, is it a deal? Ding, there's your bell, you happy? The ARV.
We can do better than that, but go ahead.
Oh, okay, I'll do better than that. The ARV is 951,000.
Oh.
The mortgage is 190.
Oh.
My seller only wants 250K.
Oh.
And the buyer assumes the mortgage. What should I do? I was trying to wholesale at 650. Am I in the ballpark?
If your ARV checks out, then yeah, there's an opportunity there. If the ARV checks out, you know, but it has to check out. You need data to show that other houses are selling for that amount of money in that area. So basically, the seller is trying to sell the property for $440,000, basically, instead of sending them an assuming mortgage, still the same thing. And it may, unless it's an assumable mortgage, it really won't matter. But so basically, the price is $440, and they're trying to sell it at $650. So, but again, you know, if the numbers play out, then yeah, that's a deal.
All right, let's see here. I'm learning. This is my second day, Adria. So if I'm asking the wrong questions, Global, no, you can't ask the wrong questions. I don't think I've seen one for you posted. I'll ask it. I'll be looking for your question, Global. If you're doing a virtual wholesale deal and the buyer is in a different state, how would the other wholesaler who presented the buyer get paid?
They'll get, I'm assuming they put the paperwork in place where they ensure they get paid. They'll get paid when you get paid. Again, assuming they have the paperwork in place to ensure they're going to get paid. That's what I would do. if I'm understanding the question correctly.
All right. Matthew Mitchell asks, what's the best way to handle houses on auctions? And how do you get buyers lined up for it when they are asking for $5,000 to even take part in the bidding? How can I take part in the bidding? Matt from Oklahoma City.
You need cash. You can't wholesale an auction property. They don't need you. You need cash to buy it. That's not wholesaling. If I'm understanding this question, is that what you're taking from it, eh?
That's what I'm taking from it. I get it.
You can't wholesale an auction property. They don't need you. That's for whoever bids the highest. If you if you go and buy it again, that's not wholesale. You just bought a property and you're gonna resell it. That's not the definition of wholesaling. Not that may be your question, but I'm just saying if you're trying to basically put yourself in the middle of an auction and the buyer has to go through you, it doesn't work that way, my friend.
All right. I found a house valued at $511K that was foreclosed on last year. The bank now has it for sale at $365,000. What are your thoughts on bank-owned properties and what price would you offer them with the POF?
I would probably offer them $200,000. What the hell? Maybe they may accept it or whatever. So I would probably offer them $200,000. I don't know what the condition is. 200 may not be low enough, but assuming. But I would offer them 200. See what comes back.
All right, guys, we're rounding up to 15 minutes after the hour. I am going to be making my rounds on each platform, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, pulling just a question from each, making sure I get one. I know I said one last week and ended up with two, so we'll see. Instagram. How do you wholesale properties with unpaid taxes? Do you have videos regarding that?
How do you hold properties with unpaid taxes? If you're referring to the seller having unpaid taxes, that money, it just comes out of their money. If we'll just say the price that you have with the seller works at $90,000 and they owe $7,000 in taxes, instead of them getting $90,000, they're closing, they get $83,000.
All right. We'll see on Facebook says, Christina says that it's going to take about 2 weeks before my bandit signs get here. What should I be doing until they finally arrive?
Good question. What I would recommend that you do is obviously you can drive for dollars, but targeting landlords, generic signs that say for rent, red and white or black and white that you can probably buy from Home Depot, Lowe's or somewhere like that, or Walmart, and reach out to them and see if they would be interested in selling the property. Hopefully you'll run into a tired landlord that can strike a deal. You can look online for deals also for landlords. You notice I didn't say for sale, but when you're out driving for dollars, definitely call for sale by owners. You never know or whatever. So you could be proactive and that gets your feet wet and dealing and talking with sellers. And again, you never know. You may be able to find something in the meantime before you get your marketing machine rolling.
All right. Hey, Heather, this video will be ready for review shortly after we close it out and say our goodbyes. Give it about just 5 minutes tops, not even that. And you should be able to go back and watch it from the very beginning over and over and over, along with the other 200 plus videos that are on his channel. So make sure you subscribe. Now, and Matthew Bonner actually gave a good tidbit about the auction question. He said what you can do at the auction is take some people's names and numbers because they are potential cash buyers.
Yeah, you could do that. That's
might be a good place to find you some buyers. Let's see here. I found some properties that are going into foreclosure soon. I have property addresses, but I don't know owner's name. What should I put on the envelope? To owner?
Owner of record. But if you don't know the owner's name, unless you're in a non-disclosure state, the tax bill has to go somewhere. If you go down, if you pull up the county website, you can see the owner's name. You can get that information in most cases. I can tell you, you guys a really good app you can download, but it's called Top Connector. Now, I don't know if it's available on Android, but I know on Apple devices it is. Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. You did try it, but it's called Top Connector. Really good app on just information on properties that'll just be right there with you. You can sit in front of a property, hit a button, and it's not always accurate, but most of the time it is. It'll tell you, pull up exactly where you are and who owns it, and a lot of the history, the size of the square footage of the property, what's on record anyway, the lot size, recent sale, the owner's sometimes phone number, sometimes, and then obviously their mailing address. So, but it's called Top Connector. I found it when I was on Melissa Data's one of the, I guess one of the services that they offer or whatever, but it's not free. It's like $4.90. I think it's like $9.99 a month or $6.99, something like that. I forgot what it is. I just pay it.
All right, guys. Well, I made my rounds across all platforms. Nehemiah, I see your question on Instagram. Message Ty directly for that. It's a local question in regards to Birmingham. I enjoyed you all. Oh, and you did get a compliment on your shirt, Batman.
Y'all don't know. You're too young for that. But yeah, hey, thanks guys for showing up this week. I did mention about the commercial real estate referrals. If you're not dealing with the owner and it's not off market, which off market is the first hurdle. But you need to be dealing with the owner. I'm not going to be interested. I'm just going to tell you straight up. I'm not going to be interested. Don't think I'm being a butt, but I'm not going to be interested. All right. No seller, what is seller's agent or sellers, whatever they call it, I forget. But seller's rep, that's the term that's used a lot. I'm not going to be interested. So multifamily, self-storage, retail centers, I guess even hotels or whatever, send them my way and we can do some business. But again, thanks for showing up this week. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, on Snapchat, flipman.net, the D-O-T-N-E-T, flipman, D-O-T-N-E-T, and on Twitter, the Flipman.
Oh, what else?
Oh, I'm trying to think. The 200 videos. If you need a coach and mentor, I do offer that. It's step-by-step course at flipman.net. You can also get a copy of the of my contract free that I've used for more than 14 years. You can get it free at flipman.net. Also, this is a wrap. And guess what?
What?
We will see
you guys.
We will see you guys on the flip side, because Asian she ain't paying attention. She's not paying attention.
I was not, but I was going to tell everybody enjoy their holiday. It's a holiday weekend.
Be safe, Houston.
That's right.